Woman whose cat was missing for 2 years goes to a shelter and breaks down. Keeping your cats outdoors might be common, but it can also be a risk. Even the most well-trained kitties are subject to becoming injured or lost and never finding their way back home. By all means, Jimmy the cat was accustomed to the life of a typical outdoor cat in West Milford, New Jersey. For the most part, he stayed close to home, prowling the neighbors' yards and lounging around the safety of the driveway. One day, he suddenly went missing, and his family was devastated. After a lengthy search for their beloved cat, the family had all but given up hope. Then, 2 years later, they received the surprise of a lifetime.
Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
Letting your cats wander around outdoors is risky business. Even pet owners who are comfortable with this will tell you there's always the chance their precious kitties either never come back or they possibly suffer an injury thanks to some sort of predator. Sue Zalitsky always let her cat Jimmy outside of their West Milford, New Jersey home, and he was always diligent about staying close by. If he wasn't wandering around in a neighbor's yard, he was sitting in the driveway or occasionally enjoying a nap in a car with the window down. He always came home. However, on September 13th, 2014, Jimmy, who was 13 years old at the time, didn't return home like usual. Sue's husband called for him repeatedly and looked around the yard, all to no avail. For the first time ever, he was nowhere to be found. The search for Jimmy began immediately. The following morning, after he'd still not returned home, his family began posting flyers everywhere they could. Whenever Sue walked their family dog, she would call Jimmy's name. Sadly, he never came. As was inevitable, the days of searching turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Then after about a year, the family had all but given up in their hopes of ever finding their beloved Jimmy. It started to sink in that he might never come home. 2.5 years later, the search for Jimmy had pretty much ceased. His family had very little hope of ever seeing him again. Then, while Sue was perusing her Facebook feed, she suddenly came across a post from the West Milford Animal Shelter about a stray cat they'd recovered. Sue immediately reached out in the Facebook post and began asking questions to see if it was, in fact, her beloved Jimmy. The more answers she received, the sooner it became clear that actually it was him. He was found approximately 10 miles from our home after the big March blizzard and brought into the West Milford Animal Shelter, Sue explained in an interview. After some sharing of pictures and other physical attributes, I went to see him. That's when Sue headed to the shelter with a few items she hoped Jimmy might remember. When she arrived at the shelter, it was instantly clear that he recognized his owner, despite the fact that it had been more than 2 years since they'd last seen each other. As soon as we opened the cage, I asked him, "Jim, is that you, bud?" And he walked over and headbutted me, and I just started crying, she remembered. In the end, Jimmy had managed to find his way home. When he returned to his house for the first time in 2 years, it was as if he'd never left. Now he's fitting in nicely with the 2 kittens they recently adopted, and he even rekindled his friendships with the family dog too. What an incredible journey, and to think that after all that time, Jimmy found his way back home. Sometimes a story with a happy ending can really just hit the spot.